general, guys. So it's all about human source of energy for survival. Charot! Okay? It's just like making, what do you call this one? A feature article. It's just like that. So the subject and the topic will be very wide. It depends on what you think at the moment. It's gonna be featured. If EATURE. There's a lot of subjects and topics in your mind, and you have to choose, okay, for that, something like that. Okay, not necessarily have a great impact to the readers or not very timely, as long as what you think, I may share this to everybody, something like that, and your description will not be limited. Okay, it's not the same with editorial article that it goes by what is being in the news, headline, factual, something like that. So it's really relevant to what is happening on a daily basis. So that's gonna be on the editorial article or editorial writing. Feature article or feature writing is just, it's not the same. It's very wide. So here you need to have wild imagination because you need to have a lot of descriptions in your brain cells and be able to share so that you can come up with, it's just like, for example, a very, very beautiful house and an ugly house. But the outside appearance of an ugly house, when you go inside, there's too much, a lot of appliances, too much electricity, like that. But the outside is not really that, having a great impact to the sense of our sight or visual impact, something like that. Okay, so it's gonna be like the comparison between editorial article and feature article. So this time it's gonna be like that only in my title, which is human source of energy for survival, and this is very general, right? Okay. But in summary of our discussion, we're gonna discuss to you some technical information, specific like that, and we're gonna relate that also in day-to-day life or what is really happening in our society or in community, so that we can really understand some terms. Because it's not also good to stick by the book and then we cannot understand also, right, what's going on. Sometimes in every explanation that I'll be able to have an interactive discussion in my live streaming, I need to have a comparison or an analogy, okay, between in existence, in reality, and in not in reality, something like that, okay? Ideal or non-ideal, something like that. Okay? So practical and theoretical. So it's better to apply in practical basis, right? Ganon siya. Okay, ano ba yung title ngayon? This is the title that comes out in my brain cells. Okay, so as far as I can remember, the title of your article or a column or whatever or write-up is gonna be maximum of 8 letters or 8 words. If it goes beyond 8 letters or 8 words, so you could not be able to have a very good title. Because in that, in that headline, the title, there are people that cannot go over the content. So in that headline alone or in the title alone, you can easily point out what's that all about. Because, for example, they have no time anymore to read the article. So it should be significantly to the point. And then if you want to be catchy, then it's better so that even though me, for example, I don't have the courage, I'm not willing to read it, I will be able to read it, I'm willing to read it because the headline is something looks like mysterious and I have to point out, oh, what's really that? It creates interest and my curiosity because it makes it catchy and it's gonna be, the title is a band, something like that. Oh, it's a band. I need to read it. Oh, what's that all about? So like that. So it's not really that common. But my title now is very common and it's very general. Okay, because this is really technical information and we could relate that into our daily basis, daily life. Okay, the main source Okay, main source of energy for survival. Ganon. Di ba? Okay. Okay, like this. Okay. When you took up certain examinations, especially international examinations, not limited only to the Philippines, like for example, um, oil and gas national examination for safety and health examination catered by United Kingdom, something this international. So it will be done simultaneously all over the world. It's gonna be, I think it's more difficult than the examination administered in your own country because it is international, something like that. So we need to ensure that all the questions will be the same all over the world. For example, I took up IGC, International General Certificate of National Examination of Safety and Health Examination, administered by United Kingdom when in July 12th, like that, July 12, 2012. Okay, that I passed that examination. It's very strict, guys. From the opening of the questionnaires, okay, it's sealed. SEALED, and there will be a video, okay, because they don't want leakage will come out. There's a video, and that representative from the Nebush Council, UK Council, but residing in UAE because I took the Nebush examination in UAE, okay, Dubai, something like that. And then there's one guy who take the video and ensure that it is completely sealed, okay, because that is simultaneous examination. And then the distance is gonna be, I think it's gonna be zero point 0.8 to 1 meter, just like, COVID, okay, protocol, like that. And then it's more than in the Philippines we have the PRC, board examination. It's more than the distance sit apart of the examinees. So for me, I could say that it's not that really difficult. Okay, I could still say that my board examination is difficult because on the calculation part or the problem solving part. But if we talk about theoretical aspects, it's gonna be like that. It's easy to answer the national examination for safety and health. Okay, sa IGC, sa International General Certificate, ganon. Because so I've been doing that for a long time. Okay, I've been in the OSH profession very long time na talaga siya. From 2004 to until now. Okay, so parang it's always come again. Okay, come again, come again, come again, and come back. So I don't have to prepare something like, even though in my trainings I don't have to prepare. I just read one time and then like that. And then in the next morning I will go to the training directly, something like that because it's accumulated already in my brain cells. Okay, so ganun siya. And then I understand also. Okay, so the difficult part there is that the controls of international the international controls of hazards and risks in the workplaces. Okay, the word international matters a lot. International because it is applicable to the entire world, and there are also hazards and risks that are specific to particular country, like that it cannot be found in another country, something like that. We could not expect the same hazards and risks in our workplace. Vary siya, depends on the type and kinds of operations or processes involved in the particular factory or plant or companies. It's not totally the same, though it's generic, typical, but it's not specifically the same. So that's what make it difficult on the third day. Ganda lang din siya okay? Na may mga take one. Okay, charot. Okay? So, ganun siya. And then the scoring there is by points, not by percentage. Like that. Okay? So there will be what do you call this one? Passer, pass, like that. And the highest one is, what do you call this one? Is achiever, yung pinakataas. Nagkatunga-tunga kay, basta lang siya tunga-tunga. Okay? So, ang pinakataas na to ang itong mga kapnatcher. Okay? Then, Me pass but only 5 points more para maabot siya dito sa minimum point sa achiever. Because the achiever has a range also of point something. So let's say 80 to 95. Okay, like that. Okay, then ang tunga-tunga sa pass, and then 5 points or it's gonna 5 points or 7 points para matungtong ko dito sa pinaka-ubos sa achiever. Minimum size sa achiever sa score here. There's a range, right? Okay, and I did not expect that because I never study a lot in the international controls of hazards and risks in the workplace. And then what I did, because there's a book, something like that, a very thick book. What I did, guys, okay, I go directly to the last part. Okay, because I said to myself, oh my gosh, the tendency for this is that you could no longer study in the last part. So, bali na ako, isugod ko sa last part, sa libro. Okay? Because I know also that in the introductory, na ako yung mga idea niya ang higayuna. Okay? Because as I said, I've been to occupational safety and health for a long period of time. So, if that is more on the introductory part, probably I can get it. Right? So I will go to the more difficult or complex part na almost on the last page of the book. Okay? Or the notes. Ito kong ginabuhat. And then it's effective talaga siya. Okay? Ganon. So, muna yung tabok ito mga sa natulog ito mga what are the hazards found in the display screen of your computer, mga ganon. Oh my gosh! Okay, naabot dito, mga demolition, safety hazards, and risk. Demolition, when you demolish the building, right? Okay.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
Like that. We have the cycle of a plant. Right? First, we have the design stage, yung ganon. Design stage, and then construction, and then pre-commissioning, commissioning, pre-start-up, then start up, then that's the time of operation, right? And after operation, stable na siya. And then, but then, it will be, time will come that, for example, it will undergo bankruptcy, that businesses are no longer healthy, then it will be demolished. Okay, the buildings, this is the last stage, demolished. Okay, like that. So from design, okay, from designing stage to pre-commissioning, commissioning, pre-startup, startup operations. Then, before pala sa construction pa muna, okay, mag-una ang construction, okay, di ba, designing. Okay, so after the design, magsugod ang construction, right? And then, that's the time there will be pre-commissioning, commissioning, pre-startup, startup, and then operations. Okay? Operations, meaning all are completely finished. We can now operate to start our business. So that is here, operation. And after that, if no longer do the business, you will demolish the building. So in the question in the Nibush examination, they asked, what are the potential hazards and risks obtained during the demolishing the building after 5 years of existing? Outline, ganan. So, tag-asking answer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, you have to use your own brain cells because it's not multiple choice. Okay, ano siya? Outlined the various potential hazards and risks obtained during the demolition of the abandoned building structures. Okay, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Walang kamatayang answers. It's up to you. And then, I'm also, my advantage really why I passed because, I'm really that okay in English. Okay, and then I write also very well. My sentence is very clean. And then, you know me, I also check the grammar, the spelling, and it has no erasure. So, since it's not computerized, human being will check. Of course, they will give points, especially the way how I phrase the sentence. It looks like, what do you call this one? It looks like vonga, kaya nga siguro may mga points dito. Charot! Even if sometimes I don't know a little bit, but I have, manikamot ko akong ansiran. Okay? Nakakaloka. Okay, ganun siya. So the main source of energy survival. That's it. That is the, I think that is the second international examination I faced in my entire life. It's gonna be the OSHA's 18,001 and 2007 examination, international also, and then the international national examination of safety and health, NEBUSH, General Certificate administered by Yoki Council. Okay, it's good really guys to experience international examination because it's really a challenge. Okay, because that is international, global. So you need to calibrate your mental ability to other nationalities as well, not only in your own country, right? So you have to prove also sometimes like that, right? So I advise to you to take examination that is also international and globally administered, something like that, because it's really worth it and you will be fulfilled after that. Okay, something like that. My gosh. Okay. So if I will compare the OSHA's 18,000 or 2007, that is safety and health, occupational safety and health management system examination. If I compare that to the NEBUSH, I found it difficult. This one, the IRCA International Certification for Registered Auditor. That's the descriptive title of that another examination. And it's very difficult, guys, because there's a lot of manual for that, and you have to follow section 1, section 1.2, section 2.3, section 2.5, like that. I took only the training for 5 days, something like that, okay? And then it costs in the I took that in the international training center in the Philippines. It cost 45,000 pesos. Okay, that training. I really invest for that. Okay, and then the NEBUSH cost 3,000 dirhams. So more or less equal also to 3,000 Saudi riyal plus. Okay, also invest something like that because I don't have enough experience in safety because I am not safety engineer when I was in the Philippines. I'm not working as a safety professional. I'm just starting my safety career when I was in international already, in abroad. Okay, I've started with occupational safety officer, and then I raised a little bit to like this, safety engineer, like a safety team leader or as a professional. After that, safety engineer now. Okay, actually I was offered to become the safety section head of Al Qarian Steel Company, something in Saudi Arabia. Okay, something like that. And then, oh my gosh, I passed already, but I don't push through. Okay, so they gave me a salary of 10,500 Saudi Riyal, including the package, free accommodation and food. But I'm afraid. Okay, why I'm afraid? Because I will be the section head. Okay, they are keep on calling in the house, and they're very very angry with me why I'm not padayon, something like that. So it's gonna be like that. This is Jeddah, Al Kubar, Jubail, Riyadh. These four cities they have branches, and then my job is to ensure the OSH occupational safety and health aspects will be maintained. Okay, then I have to ride and travel, something like that. And then I said to myself, oh my gosh, this is really tired. Then I want to go here. And then they said, no problem, you have to sleep in the hotel. And we will just give you allowance to stay in the hotel for the food. And then even if, because I'm afraid I'm afraid my driving skills. I'm not really that good in driving also. And I found out, oh my gosh, what will be the hazards and risk for this is I know, okay, the driving situation in this kingdom is not that very good. Maybe I will be affected in the near future if I keep on traveling and traveling. I look for the long-term effect rather than money. Okay, so I balance everything, I analyze everything, my health, my welfare, what's gonna be happening. Though the money is already good, okay? Imagine 10,500 Saudi Riyal, okay? Then plus allowances, oh my gosh, that's big, right? Free food and accommodation. Alkarian Steel Company, okay, something like that. And then it pushed me to have driving lesson first, and I'm also afraid. Okay? So if you are not having the courage, so you should not try, right? Maybe someday you'll be in trouble also. Okay? So meaning to say, I'm not taking up the challenge. That's why I'm not growing up in the managerial level up to this point in time. Supposedly, I am now a manager. Okay? But I'll never take the challenge. Okay, I'm afraid. And up to now, I am still safety engineer. Okay, I'm not escalating to one position to become a manager. Though I can make it, of course, but there's factors why I did not go to it. Okay, something like that. So because if you are on that level, there's so many also challenges. Though the offer is big, but there's no problem for me regarding documentation, how to make the safety programs. I can make it. But sometimes the arrangement of your employment status matters also. Your personal convenience. Okay, especially your welfare, your health, something like that. The risk. Okay, especially the risk of traffic in the road. You have to ride for a long traffic ride and a very long distance from this to this, from this to this, like that, okay? And I'm not that good really in driving. I can only drive at a short distance. My nephew will drive me, okay? Like that. I cannot drive every day, okay? My car, something like that. It's my nephew will always drive me going to the long travel, for example, going to from Cebu, going to Bugu, going to Talamban, something like that, or from the south or the north. Me, I can only drive going to SM Cebu, Talisay, Karkar, but beyond that, it's not convenient for me. And easily get tired, especially akong bagtak. Tindak-tindak ba? In fairness, okay? Like, though my car is automatic, okay, but kapuyan jugo guys, okay? Something like that. I would rather sit in the front seat and my nephew will drive for me. Okay? Something like that. Okay, now. Okay. So going back, ang taas akong istorya, I have to limit this time that because I have another appointment. Charot. Okay? Kaloka. O diba? Kaloka kayo, in fairness. I'm gonna discuss cellular respiration. Cellular respiration. Okay? Cellular respiration. Through this, we can obtain energy talaga. Okay? Cellular respiration. Okay? So, from the word cell and from the word respiration, meaning you need to take oxygen for the breathing, inhalation. You have to expel carbon dioxide. Why carbon dioxide, guys? Because the carbon atoms is the main element coming from our food we eat. Because our food we eat mostly contains carbon, especially carbohydrates and sugars. A lot of carbon atoms will be there. That's why when you exhale, okay, there's a CO2, carbon plus oxygen, because we inhale the oxygen, so it added with carbon when it released out in our body. Okay? Muna siya hitabo. Okay guys? Muna siya. It's gonna be CO2 plus H2O siya parati. Ganun. For example, you have the carbohydrates. You eat kabush. Let's say kabush. Okay, kabush. Ganun. Kabush plus oxygen. Right? We gain oxygen every time because our mouth is open every day. So we will not gain oxygen if our mouth is closed, our nose is closed, since there are no hole or opening. So normally it will go inside our body or naturally. Okay, so kabush plus oxygen, white rice or yellow rice plus oxygen. Okay, let's say, diba? Bili-bili alat tool, kada adlaw, yellow rice, okay, especially in the lunch, plus oxygen gas. Okay? Oxygen gas is normally present sa atmosphere, sa atong gitungtungan or whatever, chupa-chuchup, sa as ka napita. Oxygen is always be there. Okay? Like that. Now, caboose. Caboose and rice, usually CHO's family or the carbohydrates family. So we have 6 atoms of carbon, 12 atoms of hydrogen, and 6 atoms of oxygen. So basically, guys, carbohydrates have the same formula with dextrose. Dextrose is the one we will put in the patient to survive. So basically, dextrose converted to glucose. That's why we have blood sugar. The blood sugar is the glucose, but specifically the dextrose. The dextrose and the glucose have the same formula also, the same as the carbohydrate C612-6. Ganon siya. Okay, edyo mo kalibog, ma-origin na siya per me. If the examination and revision will say, what is the general formula of carbohydrate? The same as glucose, the same as dextrose. Ganon. Okay. So, muna siya. So, we focus on the carbohydrates. Muna na siya. Ito nang ikuha ang carbohydrate sa yellow rice, sa white rice, sa brown rice, o sa caboose, or sa brown bread, or sa milk bread. Itong ikaon adlaw-adlaw sa tanan. Okay. So, C6H12O6. Okay. And then, okay muna siya natabo. Di ba ninyo ko ni-exhale ta o carbon dioxide? That carbon dioxide comes from the carbohydrates and the sugar. Okay? Chemical reactions. Day by day chemical reactions. Okay? So it will produce carbon dioxide plus water. And you'll ask me, sir, where's the water? Now, the water, it's not really that word for word water the same as we drink that will goes out from our body. It could either be the sweat, SWE80, it could be the tears, TEARS, it could be the urine. Again, it could be the urine, it could be the tears, it could be the sweat, and it could be the other fluids that will be secreted from your epidermis or the outer layer of your skin. Okay? It's very clear. So that is the H2O there. Okay? Plus carbon dioxide release. And it will be received by the plants, trees, like that in the surrounding. Again, cycle back. Okay, ganun. So we will balance the chemical reaction. Okay. So this carbohydrates plus oxygen, CO2 plus H2O, right? Ganun. I need to discuss this first before going to the photosynthesis reaction. Okay? In which we can gain this energy source that fits to our title. The main human survival for energy. Okay? The human source of energy survival. The human survival energy source yan siya. Okay, so balance the chemical reaction. Ganon. So again, balik kita sa makasabot. If we really understand the concept of chemistry, we should keep on repeating the principle. Law of conservation of matter. Okay, and law of conservation of mass. What does it state there? Law of conservation. Okay, matter can neither be created nor can be destroyed, okay, but will not be decomposed by ordinary chemical means, something like that, okay, or unless applied by ordinary chemical means, something like that, okay. So kailangan apply yung mga effort in order to decompose, okay, something like that, or to alter the composition, okay. Hindi lang tayo mag-disgot sa law of conservation of energy. Okay? Because law of conservation of energy is specified more in physics, physical chemistry, and thermodynamics and unit operations. But this law of conservation of matter and law of conservation of mass will be discussed more on the chemistry part, the chemistry lecture, the organic chemistry, the qualitative chemistry, qualitative chemistry, like that, or the biochemistry, something like that. So it's gonna be here. Okay, so it says that the amount of the substance of the reactant will be equal to the amount of the substance of the product. And then the amount of substance, what is this? total amounts. And this amount is specifically the number of atoms. It's not the number of moles. Again, number of atoms. Meaning to say, total number of amounts of reactant is equal to the total number of amounts of the product, or it could be stated the same as total number of atoms in the reactant equals the total number of atoms of the product. So it should be balanced in equilibrium. Okay, so if it is in equilibrium, it also meets the continuity equation law or the steady state equation. Steady state, so meaning time doesn't in control, meaning time independent, something like that. So it's gonna be, so muna, ikabalance na ito pyramid, di ba kita mag-oras? So time independent. Charot, and this examination. Okay? Charot lang. Okay, now, at sa una to, carbon, and the left and right, ganon. Okay, mubalik ka sa basic guys ha. Okay, 6 carbon. So dili wala sa product. Okay, we need to put 6. Okay, because 6 man siya. 6 times 1 is equals to 6. Ang coefficient, muna ang number of atom beside the element. That is not a subscript. The subscript is not on the bottom. Like that. H2O, the 2 is the subscript of hydrogen. But the hydrogen has no coefficient, would mean 1. Okay, so 1 times 2 is equals to 2. Okay? This will be have an importance if there is a value already. For example, I will say 2 moles of sucrose. Okay, sucrose, the white sugar we have in our kitchen, the refined sugar or the table sugar. Okay, now the formula is carbon 12 H22O11. Then I have to compute the number of atoms of carbons as a carbon 12, meaning 12 atoms of carbon. Since there is 2 moles of sucrose, I have to multiply the 2 with the subscript of that carbon 12. So 12 times 2 is equals to 24. So there are total 24 of atoms in carbon. Because you have already coefficient put beside the word C, capital C, that is carbon. So take note, number of atoms is not the same as number of moles. Okay, a lot will be tricked for this in chemistry because they think that it is the number of moles are being balanced. No, it's not. It is the number of atoms are being balanced. Okay, like that. But honestly, number of moles is very popular in chemistry. Magbalik-balik yun sa pyramid. Mga mole fraction, mole percent, molar volume, molar density, molar enthalpy, molar mass. Okay, mole is very important. Okay? For me, magbalik-balik siya kay sa atom. Okay? Atom always express sa stoichiometric relationship amounts in stoichiometry, CHE calculation or chemistry calculations. But in higher chemistry and higher chemical engineering subjects, mga problem solving, chupa-chuchu, ang number of moles yung siya pero binaakin, may mga weight fraction, weight percent, mole percent, fraction, volume percent, fraction. Okay, ang mga mole-mole, anong interview na because of the molar mass. Okay? Molar mass or the molecular weight. Okay, ganun siya. In fact, Avogadro number has also mole in the denominator, right? 6.023 times 10 to the 23 per mole. O, diba? So, popular ang mole compared sa atom in calculations or stoichiometric amount calculations after balancing the chemical reaction. Ganon. Okay, so, ang carbon balance na siya. Carbon 6, ganon, chupa-chuchu. Okay. And then, guys, maglibog ka no. When I was in high school, really, I was confused where to balance first. Could either be the hydrogen or the oxygen, something like that. Oh my gosh, what's gonna be happening? But it's better to balance the hydrogen first. But actually, if you know how to balance and if you know the rule, it's up to you where to balance first. It doesn't matter. Okay? Rule, R-U-L-E. Okay? So, let's take first hydrogen. Okay, like that. So, in here guys, sa balancing of the equation, we will use a little bit of algebraic expression. Okay, meaning there's no exponential. Ano lang siya, mga monomial. monomial, but not raised to the power 2, raised to the power 3, you know? Sa expression, algebraic expression, mga x and y, 2x plus 2y is equals to 2, and then solve the value of x. So those are algebraic expression, okay? And then we have the monomial, polynomial, binomial, ganon. And we need to detect what's the expression, how many terms, ganon. Okay, so if you don't have an idea for that also, you should know what is a term, what is an expression, okay, what is that all about, kind of polynomial is that, okay, ganon. Okay, so in here, say hydrogen, hydrogen, ganon. Hydrogen in the reactant, oh my gosh. Hydrogen in the reactant is 12. In the product, we have hydrogen in the H2O, so we have 2. I go directly, guys, because there's no coefficient in carbon and there's no coefficient in hydrogen. So actually this is 6 times 1, 12 times 1 is equals to 12 for hydrogen. And hydrogen, the other side was 2 times 1. Okay? Ganon. So, you should make it in equilibrium as a rule. So, I could say, let x, di ba ganun ang algebra parati, let x the value of this quantity, let y the value of this quantity, so that you can solve what is being required. Okay? For example, this product is 20% of this price. So you can compute what is the total price when you buy the product. Okay? Ganon. X is 20%, okay, ganon, lesser than the original product. Then when you buy that one, so it will be deducted 20%. Ganon siya, so you need to know the expression. Okay, ganon. So, let X, ang imong buhaton primero is to analyze where is the less hydrogen atoms. Modulation technique, ang pinakagamay, ato ka mo let X dito. You get the point? You should go to the less deficiency atoms, kuwangan siya ba, imbalance, let X there. Don't, ayaw sa katong daghan. Diba? So reactant daghan man siya kuwag sa product is only 2. So you will let X as the value of atom needed of this hydrogen in the water to compensate or to equalize the number of atoms present in carbohydrates in our reactant. Something like that. So it's gonna be like I will put X here. Kilid sa H2O, so X. Okay? So in our equilibrium algebraic expression, we will say that 12, which is the number of atoms of the hydrogen in the reactant, is equal, because we are saying equilibrium. Equilibrium is equal, okay, or equalize. Equal. Like that. Since we have the X here, so X. Since X now here, we let that as an unknown and we put that beside the hydrogen, it will be automatically be the coefficient. What I will tell you a while ago, coefficient times the subscript. So I will say X times 2. Dissolve the algebraic expression. It will become 12 to X. Then X is equals to 6. Okay? Like that. Okay? So this is the rule for algebra. So if you have the X is equals to 6, put the 6 in the X you put and erase the X. So put 6 here. Okay. Now balance the hydrogen. Okay. Hydrogen 12 and then to balance. Now go to the oxygen. If it is balanced. Okay? Because the balance na itong carbon chuchu. Okay? So ang carbon na to 6, carbon 6. Okay, ganun. Hydrogen 12 and 12. Ang atong oxygen. Oxygen. So here in the carbohydrate or sugar, shall we say, 6 atoms, okay, plus here 2 atoms, 2 times 1, right? So it's equals to 8. Oxygen here, 2 times 6 na siya, kailangan tayo 6 sa kilid. O, subscript na siya sa oxygen yapon. Sa multiplication gani guys, kung nagtupad sila puro, ang kuno niya ang iyang coefficient. Because that is multiplication. We shared that coefficient among the other. Okay, for example, that is a protein, RCHNH2COH formula of protein, in which we found that in meat, right? So the protein atoms in the coefficient the same as the carbon, the hydrogen, the amine, and the carboxylic acid group. Pareho siya kay nagtupad naman sila puro. Okay? So, if you will try to determine the number of atoms, multiply the subscript by that. The same. Okay? So, this is, okay, 6 times 2 is equals to 12 for oxygen in the carbon dioxide. Okay? Plus oxygen. Wala subscript of oxygen sa water, but there's a coefficient of 6 shared by the hydrogen and oxygen. It will become 6 directly because there's no subscript. Actually, it is 6 times 1. So if there's no subscript of oxygen, that will be 6. Okay? Like that. Okay. Now, balance. So, 12 plus 6, 18. Right? Okay, the other one, 2 plus 6 is 8. So, which is deficient? Meaning deficient, less amount of oxygen atoms that we need to compensate to the higher oxygen atoms. So we need to let again X to this oxygen in the reactant because this is less. So put X beside oxygen. So do the algebra. Okay? So subscript 2 times X coefficient 2X. Again, equilibrium principle by the theory of chemistry lecture is equal to, okay, is equals to 18. Then solve for the value of X. X is equals to 18 divided by 2. So X is equals to 9. Put the 9 beside the oxygen because this is the X we left before. So that is 9. Now balance again all the equation. So guys, this is the correct way of balancing the equation. It's not the trial and error method. I learned this already when I was in third year. Dugay kayo na ako siya na-discover. When I was third year college in mechanical engineering. Okay, because the teachers, I'm not really discouraging, maybe they know this already, but they just don't share to their students. Because most of the instructors, they will teach the students the trial and error method. But it is not. We need to use the algebraic expression. Because it's very, very difficult. Magta-try ka primero. O mag-try sa kung 1, try 2, try to dugay kay mahuman. Iingo siyang equal para lang makakuha ka trial and error. So no good. So use the correct rule, the algebraic expression of balancing the equation. Okay? Na mag-let X ka sa unknown of atoms so that it will be equal. Then solve for the value of X. Kaya equilibrium man siya. Muna siya, nakuha na ako siya when I was 30 years old. Nalipay na ako when I reached 4th year college and 5th year college. Oh, dito din ako mabalance. Wow. Perfect. Really. Okay? Perfect kung nasa yung chemical reaction. Okay, but it will not become perfect if ako pa ang ako pa ang mag-produce sa products. Okay? Because there are also examination ng mga calculations sa chemical engineering in which ikaw pa ang muhatag sa products. Sometimes word lang siya. Ano niya? Sucrose plus oxygen gas will react to produce like a certain temperature pressure. What will happen? And they don't give any chemical formula there. Okay? So how can you do that? So sometimes marong din ka. Pero if the chemical reactions are already there, then the balancing will be perfect. Because you know already the rule how to balance the chemical equation or the chemical reaction. Unless it is a worded chemical reaction. For example, carbohydrates, word ba? C-A-R-B-O-H-I-D-R-T. Carbohydrates plus alcohol, A-L-C-O-L, ethyl alcohol. Ikaw pa yung hatag formula tagsa-tagsa. Okay, in a problem, worded problem. Okay? Muna siya lisod sa chemical engineering. You will be the one to make the formula, you will be the one to make the products, and you will be the one to balance, you will be the one to compute. Okay? But, okay lang siya, kaya sometimes lang din hindi siya perminana, no? Yung hadyo times inana siya, guys. Okay? Muna siya. I-balance na ito, igapon na balik ang carbon. Hello guys! Thank you kasi nitanaw karong higayuna. Nanitanaw guys. Wako kabantay. Okay, carbon. Balance na ito again. Carbon 6. Left, carbon 6. Hydrogen 12. Oh, okay. Hydrogen 12. Let's see if it is perfect by using the rule. Right? This is the trial and error method. Kumunayin ka ito, kumunayin sa kadiri. Di na siya mao ang pagkuan. Though, okay ra gyapon siya, pero parang ako, di siya mao ang exact theory. Okay, to do that. Okay? Now we have the oxygen 18. 18 plus 6 guys, 24, right? And here, 6 plus, ganun siya, 6 plus 12, ganon. 18, so 24. 18, 24. Okay? Ganon. So, balance siya. Perfect. Okay? Oh, balance siya perfect, guys. Ganon siya. Okay? You got the point? Okay. And again, you need to be extra careful for this, ha? You get the point, guys? Okay. So, this is now the correct balance equation for this. Okay? Ganon. You get the point? Now, if you are not really that convinced, you rewrite again your equation. Ganon siya. Okay? Ibalik-balik ka lang yung guys, mawala na siya. Okay, now. Okay. Now, ang bali ni Gayuna, di ba, kung ano to siya, nikaunta, we eat the food, rice, plus oxygen, like that, or nikaunta, plus water. Depende kung na itong kaan, we eat our food, we also add water. And we take that oxygen here as our constituent plus this carbohydrates. And the H2 will be used to synthesize or will be used to catalyze in the production of bile acids, phosphoric acid, because we have also diluted phosphoric acid in our body, uric acid, butyric acid, palmitic acid, like that, propionic acid. Okay, there's a lot of acids in our body, guys. Nucleic acids. Okay, so right, because H2 is polarity ng water. H2O, polar. A polar molecule undergo a hydrogen to hydrogen bonding, dipole-dipole bonding. Why dipole-dipole? Because two die. Dipole-dipole bonding. Okay? Pole, meaning P-O-L, the pole of hydrogen. Just like north and south. So, dipole. Because north 1, south 1. 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. And di is equals to di, so dipole. Okay, so dipole-dipole bonding or hydrogen-hydrogen bonding. So if the question in the future will say, what is the specific chemical bonding or type of chemical bonding of water? A, hydrolysis. B, covalent bonding. C, hydrogen to hydrogen bonding. C, van der Waals bonding. We have also van der Waals bonding. Okay, katong mga slightly weak intermolecular forces attached to a certain compound. Okay, ganun siya. But in here na, hydrogen-hydrogen bonding or dipole-dipole bonding. Okay, ganon. Sa H2O. This H2O, the H2 here, guys, the H is H plus. The H plus will be used in the acid because acid is always H in the first. For example, H2SO4. So the H. So that H also is coming from water we drink. Okay? For example, if we have phosphoric acid in our body, let's say diluted, and we don't know because we cannot see unless we need to get sample and experiment it in the laboratory. So the H there is coming from the water. Okay? Inom ng water taga-adlaw, makaproduce tag-acid. Okay? Specifically, the hydrochloric acid, our digestion acid. Okay, to facilitate the breaking down of larger molecules into smaller molecules so that the toxins will be reduced and be eliminated and expelled from our body through excretory system. Okay, it could be the skin, it could be the renal or the anal, sa lubot, gawas ng tae, ito mo, gawas ng mga toxins, mga chupa-chuchu, okay, mga electrolytes, sabol dito, and then that would be the constituents. And if you try to get sample, makita na ito sa laboratory. Okay, tanan. Okay, yung mga composition sa stool, gano'n, chupa-chuchu. Okay, like that. Naman siya mga protein. Okay, usually dead cells, mga dead cells protein. Na mukula mo na itom, na green, na gano'n, whatever chupa na malibang mo. Okay, muna siya. Okay, so, muna siya tako. Na, going back. So, bali ang ay, nakakalupa, Libog na akong kuan, coffee. Fairness. Oh my gosh. Heat transfer. Heat transfer through convection. Diba? Okay, because of liquid, liquid substance. Okay? Ganun. Ganun ba yun? Oo, ganun. Convection talaga. Okay? Molecules of the liquid or the fluid substance. Dili siya through solid medium. Okay, heat transfer from higher temperature to lower temperature. Right? Because the coffee at first is hot and it's becoming cold. So from high temperature to lower temperature, the heat is being transferred. Ganun. Okay, going back. So this is, ang bali natin higayon na, we need to consider the photosynthesis. Oh my gosh, I love photosynthesis. Okay, photosynthesis. Guys, analyze the word itself. Photosynthesis. Photo means light. Okay, light. God said, let there be light. And the sun appears, and the stars appears, and the moon appears. Like that. Okay, synthesis. Synthesis meaning the act of synthesizing, of course, common sense, and the act of combining, the act of reacting, like that. What else? The act of compiling with each other or bonding with each other. Okay, like that. Anything that you need to mix with each other. So there's a lot of terms that have the same meaning if we speak about synthesize. Meaning to say, from smaller molecules to larger molecules, or it could be from fewer molecules to many molecules, or plenty of molecules, or several of molecules, or multiple of molecules, something like that. Or from light molecules to heavy molecules. Also, pwede. Because you mean light, that means fewer. Because the molecular weight is lesser. Because it has to do something with the molecular weight if you speak about how light and weight the chemical compound really is. Okay, then if you introduce that with water, then our basis will be now the density. How denser the organic compound really is. If we try to put that in the aqueous solution or any solvent, fluid, liquid, or whatever, chupa-chuchu. Okay? Ganun siya. Okay. Muna siya ang meaning sa synthesis. Meaning, in the 5 types of chemical reaction or chemistry lecture, that is only combination reaction, type 1 of chemical reaction. It's very easy, right? Okay. Now, synthesis. Muna siya. Photosynthesis. Okay. Now, I will draw the Proxima Centauri. Can someone see Proxima Centauri? Proxima Centauri is the scientific name of the biggest star in the universe. The biggest star in the universe is also the nearest star in the planet Earth. And this is the Sun. S-U-N. This is the Proxima Centauri. Okay, ganon. Sun. The Sun will have a radiant heat energy through the process of radiation, and then it produces ultraviolet rays to the natural resources in our ecology, and the animals, the plants, the trees, the land, the air, or any forms of habitat will receive that kind of radiant heat energy. And then it's very hot, something like that originally, but it will now become not very hot because of the process of latent heat of vaporization and latent heat of condensation. That cycle will regulate and control the temperature that will be able to be delivered in the planet Earth. Okay? So it will be reduced now during the emission or diffusion of the heat of the sunlight produced through thermal radiant heat energy of the sun or ultraviolet rays through the process of thermal radiation. Amen. Okay. Now, this light of the sun composed of hydrogen, the lightest element in the universe, discovered by Mr. Henry Cavendish, which is an atomic weight of 1.0018 grams per atom. Wow. And also, it has a mass number of 6.67 times 10 to the negative 27 kilogram. Okay? So, when we mean of H here, that means proton already, proton, P-R-O-T. The positive at the top of the hydrogen is proton. Okay? Like that. So, one single proton for the hydrogen. Okay? At the top, just like a valence in the outermost shell. So, positive one. Okay, so helium, take note. This is very interesting, guys. Okay, helium. Okay, helium. Hydrogen. Ang helium, guys, is the second lightest element. Huh? Element meaning it could be a gas, it could be a liquid, it could be a solid. Kung ito specific, the lightest gas, right? But general lightest element. That would be understood because we are referring to a gas. Okay? Like that. So, H, and then, hala, there's phosphorus. Wow, I love that. Phosphorus. Imagine this phosphorus level when the sun radiate in the planet Earth. So, di ba? Karon ko makibaw no or dugay naman nakibaw man ay phosphorus ang hit from the sun. Okay. Why man? Hala. Why? Because this will be used in the electron transport during phosphorylation process. Phosphorylation process so that we can gain energy sources from the photosynthesis reaction from the chlorophyll. Okay, chlorophyll and the sunlight. Charot. Laoy, nakakaloka. Sige na nga. Yung sa may formula ng chlorophyll. Charot. Chlorophyll composed of a chloroplasts. Charot. Really? Anyways, ato dito detect dito ang mga cellulose. Charot. Grabe. Okay, ganon. And the starch, the multiple sugars. Starch is also a multiple sugars that comes from the green pigment known as a chlorophyll. Ganon. Okay, starch is a sugar, ha? Remember that one also. Maybe it will come out also in the examination. Is starch is a sugar? True or false? The answer will be yes. It is a polysaccharide sugars composed of millions of monomers of glucoses, something like that. A single monomer of a glucose unit. That is monomer. Then dagan sila monomers. Dagan sa nga monomers mo na siyang polymers. So the process will be polymerization reaction. Okay, ganun. So phosphorus, oh my gosh, I love this phosphorus. Okay, now, this sunlight. Now, we have starting from the, okay, CO2 plus H2O, ganon. Muna siya atong raw material. And then we have this. Okay, this is, ano siya guys, it's gonna be reversible reaction, natural process, right? Okay, and we have the sunlight, or the photo, or sunlight. Okay, and we have the chlorophyll, charot. Chlorophyll. Nandiyo yung mga magic gihatag. Our Lord God is very powerful because the formula of chlorophyll, guys, has no phosphorus. Really, but why when you take the energy in our body, there's a phosphorus. Okay? Phosphorus that we take in our body to convert energy in order to become active. Energy carrying molecule ba ang kasagaran to those organic compound contains phosphorus. It gives energy production and for the cell metabolism. Okay, cell metabolism is cellular respiration, kan mga breathing, inhalation. Needs phosphorus also. Nagtuo mo oxygen ra, phosphorus also because for cellular respiration. And then gimagic sa Ginoo ni kalit ang phosphorus sa sun. Okay? Okay, the sunlight and the chlorophyll, ganan. And then magpulos din na siya mga kuan guys, mga carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, ganan chupa-chucho. And plus oxygen. What do you notice kasi? This is the reverse. This is the reverse kung mukhaong taog rice. Ang reaction ba? Balik. Nahimo siyang carbon dioxide plus water. And then plus the chlorophyll and the sunlight. Chlorophyll will be coming from the plants because we exhale, we expel the carbon dioxide into the environment. And what will receive to that is the plants. Okay, like that, the plants, the trees, like that. And the water also will be coming there, the rain, the river, the lake, the natural water vaporization process. We have water in here. Even though we will see our floor is dry, there's also water reaction there. We just don't see it. There's still water. Okay? When we mean of water, when we mean of dryness, that would not mean that there's no water anymore there. There's still water because it will matter on the composition. Maybe 0.02% moisture, 0.005, but there's still water. We just don't see it. Okay? So, di lang siya makabigay dahil wala na siya water. Naagya po na siya. There's a moisture. Okay? Remaining in particular. Muna naging siya water sa atong environment, sa atong ecology. And then, the chlorophyll sa mga plants, gano'n siya. Mukha na siya carbohydrates, gano'n. Okay, carbohydrates. Okay, muna siya. Now, carbohydrates, guys, will be the source of our glycogen inside our body. Here inside our stomach, glycogen. That is the storage house of all the glucoses that we gain from kabush, bread, wet bread, milk bread, yellow rice, brown rice, white rice, chapati or whatever. Okay? Muna siyang carbohydrates. Okay. Carbohydrates. Yan muna siya chupa-chuchu. Okay? Mu-break down na siya, guys. Okay? Take note. Mu-break down na siya. It will not end there. Diba? Mu-break down siya sa mga glucoses chupa-chuchu. Yung mu-produce na siya yung mga kuan. Mag-grabe siya yung mga compound. Ito mga pyruvic acid, adenosine triphosphate, nicotinamide Qdenine Dinucleotide, o di ba, nakakaloka. And then, mga pyruvate molecules. These four are the main source of energy for human being. Okay? That's why we need to eat also food with carbohydrates. Okay? It doesn't mean we don't eat na jud talaga. We should eat because the carbohydrates have purpose in our body to give us strength and energy. Though there's a lot of sources, but it's easy to acquire and obtain these rices if you just buy in the market, right? So, muna siya natabungan. We need you to eat carbohydrates. But the only problem is to keep accumulating that in an excess, normal range of what is being required. More yun siya problema. Okay, guys? But, pwede na good siya. Okay? Kaya mo na siya itong main source of energy, ang carbohydrates, good. Coming from the plants. Okay, ganon. Okay, later I will be coming back to discuss further what are the products produced of this carbohydrates through the process of glycolysis. Wow, really? It derives from glycogen. Nakakaloka. Diba, guys? And I will ask you, what is the most abundant organic compound in the planet Earth? Question number 1. Okay, ganon. No choices. Fill in the blank. Wow. The most abundant organic compound in the planet Earth. Okay? It's not oxygen because oxygen is the most abundant element in the planet Earth. Element siya. Not a compound. When we speak about element, it's only single. Right? So take note with the grammar and how it is being phrased in the question. Okay? It's totally different in saying, what is the most abundant organic compound in the planet Earth? And the other, what is the most abundant element in the planet Earth? Element is only single, one. Okay, so the answer will be oxygen. Okay? And then the answer for the other one is cellulose. Cellulose is too much. That's really the most heaviest in the planet Earth. Coming from the plants, trees, grasses, and everything. Okay? The flora and fauna in the ecology. In our ecosystem. Charot! And now, what is the formula of cellulose? Later, I'll be discussing also. Grabe naman. What are the formula of cellulose? Ganun siya, whatever, chuba-chuchu. But let's remember that this cellulose, guys, is the most important constituent or component of our cell wall. Cell wall. Human cell wall sa itong mga organs inside or cell wall of the living organisms or the cell membrane. Muna siya gamit sa cellulose. Okay? Ganun siya. And it is a polysaccharides of glucose units. Coming also from the glycogen. Ganon. Di ba related ang glycogen, cellulose, ganon, chuba-chucho. These are all the family of sugars and their polysaccharides. Siyang polysaccharides family. Charot. Si polysaccharides family, mo dyan siya ay killer kayo sa atong kalibutan. Okay? Kaya makakos of heart attack, obesity, o ganon, overweight, type 2 diabetes, hyperglycemia, cardiovascular diseases, pala. Okay? Si carbohydrates o si polysaccharides family under macromolecules under the study of biochemistry. I'm talking here with biochemistry. Okay? You get the point? Biology plus chemistry. Oh, thank you so much for watching. I'll be coming back. I'll be able to continue the process of glycolysis. Okay? Again, in relation to the pyruvate acid. Wow. Okay, mungkin siya process, di kita mabuhi basta mga pyruvate acid, mga di ba? At least mga ATP, adenosine triphosphate, mga gano'n, chupa-chucho. Because these are the energy carrying molecule. They will carry energy every second in our cells, in all living organisms, including the human being. Okay, and then for our cellular metabolism. Imagine metabolism, okay, and then cellular respiration, meaning breathing. So that is very, very important. Okay, ganon. Technical information pa. Okay, thank you so much. God bless everybody. I will be coming back for my continuation lecture on the process of glycolysis. This is again Engineer Sotero Nepomuceno Jr. saying bye-bye. See you later. Kaloka. O diba?